and he's loose again. Edwards off the running. Like the back down to Edwards. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won. Right now, and they take a downfield shot. And the catch is made. It's Vernon Williams. Goes to the free. Touchdown. Going for the corner. He's got it.
All righty, everybody, welcome into the next edition of the Gridiron Uncensored podcast. Good folks of Iowa, we're happy to have you. It's time for a preview and kind of what we're seeing on this 2025 squad and maybe what you can build off of 2024. My partner's out tonight, so it's just me, Brendan. Again, we appreciate your time and checking us out. Hit the subscribe, all that shit if you like it. If not, we'll see in the comments, I'm sure. But either way, we're going to hit 2024 first. That's kind of like what we do, just a quick look back, and then we go dig into the team and look at the schedule in a macro sense. All right, pulling up 24 and just going to walk through it real quick. And I know you guys know, but there's other people that watch that aren't fans of your team. So we kind of do a quick, look. Iowa State, obviously that first tough loss, 20-19 in the waning seconds there. That was brutal. Ohio, and then a couple wins there. Minnesota win in Minnesota, always nice to have. And then the loss to Ohio State, win against Washington, loss to Michigan State. It's just kind of that up and down. You do beat Northwestern and Wisconsin there, but then that loss to UCLA. I think UCLA is defensively solid at times that season, but I feel like that was a rough loss. But I mean, obviously, you guys had offensive issues last season. At times there was times that it worked. You saw against Wisconsin, were 42-10, Northwestern 40, but then you play these other ones and you just can't get out of your own way. And we'll talk about offense, defense, all that shit later. Then you finish off Maryland. You beat Nebraska in a tight game, and then you do lose to Mizzou in a tough bowl game. But really, in the end, 8-5, 6-3 in the conference, and not too shabby, to be honest with you, considering the numbers. When you look at offense, was 117th in the country, and defense still top 20, and that's to be expected from an Iowa squad. Phil Parker, the dude, he's one of the best coaches, defensive coordinators in the country. So when you look at 24, we're moving on. What do you have? What are some of the numbers mentioned? The 24 offensive and defensive numbers, but what do you have going into 25? Returning productions at 56%. These are Bill Conley numbers. ESPN. I think he does great work, and yes, this does count transfer portal production coming in, and then SP Plus has you guys at the 28th toughest team or hardest team to play, or best team, whatever you want to say. And that's a running estimate of over 4 years of advanced, stats and recruiting rankings. How you did the year before, all that, and then as you go through the season, those stats get pushed out, and it provides a more accurate picture during the regular season. All right, so. We talked a little bit, the 24, some of the numbers, 25, coaching staff. What do we have? We have some continuity. To me, that obviously always crucial to have some good continuity. Lester's in at his second year as an offensive coordinator. We mentioned Parker's. That dude's the DC. He's not leaving. This is his team. With Ferentz, I think that it's a great combo. And if you can just get this offense back to good, I was going to be back to the top end of the Big Ten, like we all like to see. So talking a little bit on the continuity and stuff. If you guys like what Lester's doing, if you feel good about the trajectory of it, hit me up in the comments. Like I said, we're doing a macro outlook. I don't dig in too much on all of it. I just kind of, I know the schemes are on that type of stuff, but I know you guys too. I'm not going to waste anybody's time. Talking about the portal class, and it's kind of, we just jump into that. I think it's a solid little class for what you guys needed. Like you said, you have 56% production returning. You guys recruit what you need and to fit the culture for Ferentz. And I think you don't have to have massive portal classes. You don't have to, especially when you're only losing 23, and a lot of those guys are moving on to group of six programs, FCS programs. They're just not going to fit in the two deep, maybe three deep anymore. So people look and they're like, hey, it's they lost 23. I got to have 23 or more to replace. Not always. Trust your recruiting, trust your culture. And I think that's what the coaching staff's doing here. Mentioned the portal class ranked in the 55th portal class. I think I might have said 65th on accident. 9 in, 23 out. The key guys coming in that I have written down: Jonah Price, Bryce Hawthorne, guys like that, Ty Hudkins, kind of the depth side, and then of course, quarterback Gronkowski. Huge addition to this team and really the focal point of it. And we'll talk again offense, defense here soon. You did lose some good ones. Some guys I wrote down were Pescuzzi, LaShawn Williams, Hoffman, and then Nestor heading over to in-conference rival in Minnesota. So that's always tough to see, but again, that's just kind of the way it is. And I might have said Price on accident. I meant Jonah Pace, not Price. I can't read half the time my own damn writing. But either way, some good guys in this class. I like it. You guys built up your quarterback depth chart really. Hank Brown also coming in from Auburn. I think that can be pretty beneficial. But either way, let's move on. Talking offense, we mentioned Gronkowski as a quarterback. I think everybody knows, he's the guy. Everything says that he's going to be healthy for camp. He won 2 national titles at South Dakota State. I mean, the guy can play over 12,000 yards total as a player. He can run, he can pass, he's accurate. This is a great pickup, and people right now are questioning really his health and what that'll lead to for this 25 season, if he's even going to be ready to go. Everything that I have read says he is good to go. Let me know if you're hearing something different, because things can change. There's so much, in the interweb and, things that coaching staffs try to keep quiet, coach speak and all that crap. So let me know if you guys are seeing anything different as fans, because again, we're outside looking in. We do national coverage, so it's kind of hard to, narrow in on every single team, and especially in their boards and all that stuff. You guys know. Let me know. That's all I'm saying. And I tend to ramble a little bit if you can't freaking tell. All right, we talked Gronk. I think the dude's going to be fine. Offensive line, though, this is where you got to make your money and help this man out. And you return 3 starters. You've got depth. And then you also did bring in, a little bit of help, on the offensive line, too, from Bryce George coming up from Ferris State. And I think that's a good pickup. I think that's somebody that you can build off of. 6'5", 314. So it's Iowa. You're going to have a good offensive line. You have guys that you recruit that fit the scheme, the system. This is going to be a fine offensive line, especially, like I said, returning 3 starters. Huge help. And then halfback. That's one where, replacing Caleb Johnson, that's tough. But you do have returning production there in Moulton. And then, there's guys in the background that also can fill in. You're going to need those rotational pieces to help out. But I think the starting running back position is going to be good. A lot of this is just going to be predicated on how Gronk does. Returning wideouts, you return all your main ones. The tight ends are good in Ostrenga. And I think you get those guys targets. All right, this offense is moving. You're getting out of the 117th round. I mean, we know the quarterback situation here at Iowa has been rough the last couple of years. Even, we thought Cade McNamara was going to be good. I'm a Michigan fan. I think after he lost the job to J.J. McCarthy, things just went to hell, kind of in his psyche, and then, injuries and everything else. I think this is the first year in a while that Iowa's going to feel really happy with what they have at quarterback. Uh, again, you got weapons, you've got an offensive line. I guarantee you, this offense is going to take a jump. I feel it. Uh, and then when we look at the defense side, there's depth everywhere, especially on the defensive line. But I want to see more, pressure and more, getting tackles for losses, stuff like that. That's kind of what when I looked at this team, I think they could push a little bit further. Still solid roster, still solid, defense from last year, but that's just what I see on it. The linebackers, that takes a big hit, losing Higgins and Jackson. But again, the reserve guys, they have talent. They've gotten reps. They've been involved in these Big Ten matchups. I think they're going to fit into the roles just fine at linebacker. And then the defensive back side, as long as that offensive or the defensive front's pushing, you're gonna get good play on the back end. And plus, it's a Phil Parker defense. They're going to be stout. You guys. It's every year. It's a hard defense to play, no matter how crappy the offense is running. You guys know it's tough to play in Iowa defense, and the defensive backs look good to me at corner. Safety's got guys that can step up. Wonkwa, Ettringer, those guys are going to play huge roles, especially while the linebacker core is figuring it out and stepping into these roles, these bigger roles. The safeties are going to be critical to this team and how well you guys advance in this defense. Real quick, and pull up the schedule here and kind of talk through it. If I can get my dang cursor to move, there we go, and I will pull it up. All right. So when we look at the schedule for 2025 Iowa, I see good amount of wins here. When you again, the defense is going to have you in every single game, and if the offense takes the leap that I think it will, watch out. All right. When you look at this team, I'm going to give floor first, and then I'll do my ceiling. Floor, everything goes wrong. Gronk's not healthy, the way that we might think he is. The O line does not gel like we anticipate, or that I anticipate. I'd say 6-6. It would be like the low end. It all goes wrong. That's the over-under's at 7.5, so I'm not far off from there. Again, injuries, anything takes place. Worst case scenario, I would say 6-6. You lose to Iowa State early. You take a loss to Indiana. You take a loss to Penn State. So you already got 1, 2, 3 there. You take a loss to Oregon, maybe lost to Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Camp Randall. There's room for losses. There certainly is. But I think this team is talented enough to get more. Iowa State, they are still a talented team. I know a lot of people say that they lost too much. Now, they did lose some good weapons out wide, but I still like what they got at quarterback. I still think they're going to be fine. I think you guys do get them this year, though. I really do. We'll see if my opinion changes in the regular season. But right now, I think I'm going to chalk that up as a win. I think you beat Rutgers. I think you beat, Wisconsin. They've got such a tough schedule. They're going to be up and down, just dealing with losses, and they got Bama not too long before that. So I think you can get Wisconsin there. Penn State is a tough one. I'm chalking it up as a loss just because of how much depth and talent they have, veteran quarterback, but also Alar's been known to me just not play great in some huge games. As a Michigan fan, I think about, he had a pass on like 4th down. I think it was the 2023 season for Michigan. And they were trying to mount a comeback, and he throws it out to the middle of nowhere. It was like a 4th and 8 or something. And there was nobody around him. And that's just one play, but there's many where I feel that way about Alar. That's beside the point. I think you can get them, but I'm still chalking that one up as a loss because of what they have in the run game and everything else. Minnesota, I like this team. I think they have the talent, but I want to see how Drake Lindsay actually plays. It's a young quarterback. I can see a win here. Oregon, I can see this as a win. It's in Iowa at Kinnick Stadium. We don't know the time yet. I'd almost guarantee that's going to be a night game. Uh, maybe I'm wrong. It's a November, night game, so maybe it won't be. Maybe freaking Big Noon will take it. I hope not. With Dante Moore at quarterback, I still need to see it. It's been a year since he's played. Everybody says that he's had a great off season. I just want to see it before I really buy in. And I like what Iowa has in the defensively. I think they can put them in a binder. So we'll see. USC, to me, that's a winnable game. Michigan State, Nebraska's going to be tough in Lincoln to close out the year. That last 4-game stretch is crucial to hitting what I see as the ceiling. And I've got a ceiling of 10-2. I think there's enough on this team to get to that point. And 10-2 season, that might have you right there at Big Ten, contention. Especially maybe if you lose to Iowa State and then you win through, drop one more in the Big Ten, Penn State, maybe Oregon, depending. I don't know, guys. I like what I'm seeing from this team. I like what I'm seeing. 9-3 would probably be my safe bet, but I like the ceiling too. So you guys, I want to hear from you. I want to know what you think about this squad, and I'll fix that. I actually did better this time. I remembered to remove it. I'd been sitting like this the whole last part of the segment, and so my partner is much better at managing those. But either way, let me know what you guys think. If you like the episode, please share it, subscribe, all that good stuff. It means a lot to us, and I really want to hear from the fans because, again, we are outside looking in. So hope you guys have a great one. We'll see you around. Check for this, on YouTube. It's on podcast platforms, all that good stuff. Take it easy. We'll see you later.